And Mason County Auditor Paddy McGuire. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
We have got a busy week for you as today kicks off candidate filing week. And we've got lots of openings. Tell us a little bit about how people can run, what they need. And there are some costs to some of the races, but not many here.
Right, we call this put up or shut up time. This is the week when people can file for 65 offices are going to be on the ballot this year. But to be a candidate, to be listed on the ballot, you need to file before 4 o'clock Friday afternoon.
And, we see online nowadays, especially on social media, everybody's got a great opinion about how the current electeds could do their jobs better.
Yeah, so get in there, right?
It's weird how by the end of the week, a lot of those folks' names don't really seem to be on the list. So I kind of see what you're saying there.
Yeah, we want people to shut up, but they don't.
So what are some of the races that are open here for the primary process before we move into the general election? Let's start with the city and then work our way out here.
So 3 seats on the Shelton City Council.
Wow.
And then all the fire districts, the 12 fire districts have seats on the ballot. 5 ports, Port of Shelton, Port of Dewatto, Port of Allen and Grapeview. All the school districts have school district board members, and water districts, and the all-important Belfair Cemetery District.
You got to get in and going. Well, what do you do for that one? I understand water districts deal with with the PUDs perhaps and the water quality issues. But what does a cemetery district entail?
So there is a public cemetery in Belfair, and there's an elected board that oversees the fees and making sure that the lawns get mowed and all that stuff.
Wow.
So it is, since it is a public cemetery, it's a public body, elected officials.
Interesting.
That
People are just dying to get in there.
You got to live in Belfair.
You do have
You
to.
have to
So
be
let's
Belfair.
talk about that. The different port districts, like you mentioned, Dewatto and Grapeview. You have to be a resident, and for these kind of unincorporated areas, how does that work with boundary lines and stuff?
So for people who are thinking about running for office, it really is easy because you go to our website. You can just Google Mason County Auditor. That's the easiest way. And there's a link to running for office there that isn't up yet. It will be up at 9 a.m. because you can't file yet.
Okay.
But at 9 a.m. through 4 p.m. on Friday, you can go there. You put in your voter information, and it will tell you everything that you are eligible to run for. So you don't even have to know what port district you're in or whether you're in a port district or what school district you're in. It's all right there.
Interesting.
So how does this work? Is it better to be, you have to be in the community X number of years or months, or how does that work? Like, how does an average Joe run for these things? Like, let's say you're not known by anybody, but like your family and your next door neighbors. How would you win at something like that?
Perhaps.
Well,
Like you just campaign like everybody else? Or
yeah.
what?
These are generally low-cost races.
Yeah.
There are reporting requirements for campaign finance stuff through the state, through the Public Disclosure Commission. But if you raise less than $5,000 for a campaign, and probably all of these people, maybe Shelton City Council, but pretty much everybody else is going to be less than $5,000. It's really easy. So, it is not a great burden. You do have to report. You do have to fill out a financial disclosure form, but the reporting is pretty simple.
Wow.
Port of Shelton and those 2 positions and the city of Shelton, those 3 positions do have filing fees, and it's based on a percentage of the annual pay or something like that, right?
You pay the filing fees in the state of Washington are 1% of the annual pay. So most of these jobs, the vast majority of these jobs are unpaid, so 1% of nothing is pretty easy to calculate. But the filing fees for these jobs are pretty nominal. I think Shelton City Council is $60.
Yeah, $60 it says for those, and then $650 for the two port positions there. So in person, online, those don't make a difference anymore nowadays? Or?
Doesn't make a difference. It really is easier online. You're welcome. We love seeing people in the office, so come on down if you want to, but it really is pretty simple to do it online, fast and easy. You can pay with a credit card if there's a fee, or again, for most of these jobs, they're not. And I think, I think it's important to remember how important even like fire district jobs are.
Sure.
I live on the south end of Harstein Island. What firehouse is fully staffed matters to me.
Yeah.
It can be kind of a life and death situation. And so, although all the focus politically is on running for Congress and running for governor and that sort of thing.
These are the important ones because these are the folks you see every day. They're the ones that you can really bend their ear and make decisions. Here at the station, we deal and interact with a lot of these folks. But for the majority of citizens, they don't have the sort of direct access that we have. But compared to a U.S. congressman who's in D.C., 11 months out of the year, you're never really going to see them unless you're at a forum or a town hall. These are your friends, your neighbors, the folks that are walking up and down the streets on a daily basis.
Sure, and fire and emergency management services on water. I mean, those are really important things to people's daily lives in a way that what's happening in Congress can be pretty far away.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Too, I was going to mention something else, but I totally forgot what it was. So the other one, I remember. This will be your first go-around for this, right?
Correct. 65
people is a lot. Is that a normal amount of openings per?
This is pretty normal. I mean, this is a pretty normal odd year election. We elect a lot of people in Washington State to a lot of offices, and so this is pretty normal. Let me just say one thing about the primary. You mentioned the primary.
Yeah.
So the way these offices work is if 2 or 1 people file for a particular office, it will go straight to the general election.
Sure.
If 3 or more file, it will be on the primary election in August. So, we won't know until 4:00 on Friday which of these, if any, will be on the primary election ballot and which will go straight to the general election ballot.
What are you going to do leading up to these potential primaries, if not just the general, to help try to boost voter turnout this year? You guys got any plans in the office to bring it home?
Today we have a new staff person starting. I was very happy that the county commission restored a staff person that had been lost in the last round of budget cuts. And a big portion of that person's time is going to be devoted to voter outreach, being in the schools. This will also be the first election in which people can do same-day registration. So up until 8 p.m. on election night, they can walk into our office and register to vote and be handed a ballot and cast it and be done. So
tell us a little bit about that change. That's a big change. Was that a state mandate just this past session, or did we vote on that last year? Or how does this?
It was passed by the legislature in 2019 to go into effect July 1 this year. So in the primary and the general election this year, will be the first time we've done that, and it will be a wholly new experience for us.
Yeah. Next year, 2020, we'll have to have the enhanced driver's license and things like that. That doesn't mean anything, right? For us now, we just have a valid picture ID to prove where we are from, or something?
What you have to do in the state of Washington is swear an oath that you have lived here for 30 days and that you are who you say you are. We will now have the ability to check to make sure you haven't voted in another county in that election, because you can't do that. And so we will be able to check, but it's a felony to lie to us.
Sure.
And so and given the number of people, given how hard we have to work to get people to vote, I believe that the number of people that are lying about that and voting illegally or registering illegally is exceptionally small, because it's a felony.
Sure.
And it's serious business.
Yeah.
And it should be.
And it should be. Interesting. Paddy McGuire, what else is looking ahead? I mean, statewide, are there other ways that we're trying to boost the roles, the same-day registration? And so when you do the same-day registration, are you going to be receiving an absentee ballot at that moment, or are you going to have like an old school paper ballot? like we remember from years gone by?
Well, so since we vote by mail, when in the last 8 days before the election to register to vote, you'll have to come into our office. But you come in, you fill out the form to register to vote, and we will physically hand you a ballot at that moment. And you can either take it home with you, or if it's on the last day, fill it out right there and hand it back to us and be done.
Fascinating technology to count these ballots and totals when they come in. That is an open process for folks. They can come in and watch this?
Absolutely, we do. It starts with what we call logic and accuracy testing before every election, that we run test ballots through our system to make sure that it is counting accurately. We zero everything out, lock it down, and then the actual counting is open to the public. We provide information about when we're doing that on our website, so people, it's all open. We love to have people come watch, because I think when you see what we do and the systems we have in place to make sure that ballots aren't tampered with. I mean, for example, one person is never with marked ballots.
Sure.
It's always two people. We seal everything up. We have seals on everything, and logs for when seals are broken and seals put back on. So, when people see our process, I think it really gives them a sense of confidence that things are being counted accurately, and that we are doing everything we possibly can to keep our elections safe.
Now that I got you here, we might as well just go through all the questions. 8 Dropboxes in the county. Is there any plans to make more of those available? Or
So the legislature this year passed the Native American Voting Rights Act, which allows the 2 tribes in the county, all the tribes in the state, but the 2 tribes here in Mason County, to have a Dropbox put on tribal lands where they've designated. We've had some early discussions with both the Squaxin Island tribe and the Skokomish tribe about that. There's a Dropbox within a quarter mile of the Squaxin Tribal Center, so it doesn't seem like they're going to want another one, but they could. It's their choice. And we're in discussions with the Skokomish about doing something there at their new community center.
Okay.
So more to come on that.
And then finally, back into the office, voting accessibility and ADA and ADA compliance. Are there other ways for folks to come to the office and vote if they're unable to use the standard forms of election voting?
Sure. I mean, vote by mail for people with a broad range of disabilities, vote by mail is pretty terrific.
Yeah.
For people with visual disabilities, it's not so great.
Right.
Filling out a paper ballot, filling in ovals privately and independently, if you don't see well, is hard. People can come into our office anytime we're open, 9 to 4. Monday through Friday, and then on election day up to 8 p.m. And we have accessible equipment that they can either put on headphones and have the ballot read to them, or blow up the print to be 8 inches tall. And
Whatever can work for them.
It's a pretty slick system. Not many people use it. Yeah. Most people, in our experience, rely on somebody that they trust in the home, but it's available, and our office is accessible and easy to get into, and we're happy to have people come see us.
What about signatures? I've gotten letters back over the years that my signature does not match the signature on file. Talk to me about that process.
So part of the security of vote by mail is that we check the signature of every single ballot against the signature on the voter registration card. So we have people physically comparing the signature on the ballot to the signature on the voter registration card. Some people registered to vote 35 years ago, and in 35 years your signature can change.
Yeah.
So the thing we run into most often is that people's signatures change over time. We have 10 days after the election to contact the voter. If the signature doesn't match, we send a postcard. We're a small county, so we also pick up the phone and call and say, come on in and fill out a new card, and we'll count your ballot. Because our goal here is to make sure that every eligible voter's ballot counts, and they get to have their say in all this.
Candidate filing week ends on the 17th at 4 p.m. and then you'll have that weekend to kind of come to your senses and figuring out whether you want to withdraw from that candidacy if you need to. And we've heard some of those stories over the years. But please take the time to get involved in the process. There are 65 openings, so there is undoubtedly a spot available near you and near where you live. Patty, good to see you.
It's great to see you. Thanks for having me in.
Good luck through the week here, and hopefully we get a lot of folks coming and filing here for you.
Good deal. Thanks so much.